My name is Danielle Trofe, and welcome to my pop-up studio here at Yoga Tribe, Brooklyn. That's a little bit better. My studio, Danielle Trofe Design, brings innovation through sustainability to the user, whether that's science-based, technology-based, or design-based. We like to bring those intersections together and creating solutions like this lighting that is biodegradable. It's good for the people, it's good for the planet, and it's actually grown using mushroom mycelium. Mycelium is the roots of mushrooms. So we eat the fruiting body, so like apple is the fruit of a tree, mushroom is the fruit of mycelium. So let me show you what we're talking about here. So this is a lampshade that was grown. It was grown over the course of just a few days. Rather than using wood, which could take 10, 20, 30, 100 years to actually be able to grow in order to use it in furniture, we're growing this in just a few days. And it's binding together. So all the white that you see, and it's actually soft and fuzzy. You can actually grow it to feel like a lamb's ear. Agricultural waste, coffee grinds, hemp, any kind of substrate that it can digest and bind to, what it would naturally do in nature. So in nature, mycelium grows beneath the forest floor. It connects all the plants and trees in a forest together. It provides nutrients to all these organisms. It's also nature's composter. It breaks down dying and decaying matter in trees. And we're really kind of borrowing that same recipe, that circular life cycle, and embodying that into the lighting collection. So it's providing nutrients rather than toxins, and there's no off-gassing in your indoor spaces. It's healthy for both people at every step of the production process, and we're not endangering our ecosystems by producing this. What really inspired this lighting collection was, one, realizing that as a designer, I am responsible for the things that I make, for the things that I bring to fruition, for the resources that we are consuming and using. And being able to control what these inputs are for the design is really powerful. And so it was really about discovering and asking questions that hadn't been really asked before. Can we actually grow a product? Can we have it be so safe that you could possibly eat it? And because we're living with these things, these are in our lives day in and day out. And right now we're really aware of our indoor air quality. And to start to realize what different plastics and different glues and toxins are in these indoor environments, it really became a search for finding a better way. We have a studio in Industry City. We created a grow lab. We're growing an entire lighting collection, one of the first in the world to be a commercialized product of a biofabricated product. And that might be a new word for a lot of people. The biofabrication is using a living organism to grow or produce a product for you. And that's what we're doing here. We're biofabricating lampshades. So here we have the living material. It's hemp substrate that's already been inoculated with mycelium. It's in this container. It's keeping contamination away from it, any kind of bacteria that could interfere with the growing environment. We've got our cleaning supplies here, and our thermoformed molds that will actually hold the shape of the lampshade while the mycelium is growing and binding to the substrate. Let's begin growing. So first we're going to put on gloves. And sometimes this is kind of scary because you think it could actually harm you, but the reality is you have more bacteria on your hands that could hurt the mycelium than the mycelium could actually hurt you. So it's completely safe. So we're going to open this up. Now, this is already pre-grown, so you can actually start to see the mycelium that's already been growing over a few days. So this is the hemp that's grown in New York. locally sourced. And right here, this is mycelium. All this white that you can see here, you can see that's already binding loosely. So it's really dense, and eventually it's going to grow and bind so it's just as solid as this. There's no other glues or anything holding this substrate together. It's just mycelium, and you can see all the white that you see. There's nothing added, no paint. That's all mycelium. All right, so let's start to grow. You can control the thickness of it. You can use different kinds of tools. We use thermoform tools, but often a lot of our prototyping begins with just 3D printed PLA tools. That way we can rapidly create some prototypes to see if they're designs that are desirable. So we're just going to pack this in like so. And you can see that all that you can see at the beginning is just this brown hemp. And that's a substrate that it wants to grow to. It's got cellulose based, so it's a woody matter. It's something that it would experience in its natural environment in a forest. And it's going to digest it in this growing process, but it's also going to bind to it. And this is going to happen over the course of just a few days. A lampshade about this size will take about 6 to 7 days growing inside of this shape. And then we'll actually demold it and let it grow a few more days. The final step after it's grown fully is we will let it dry. So we'll place it onto a drying rack like this. We'll demold it and we'll let it air dry, put some fans on it, and then finally bake it. And the baking just renders the material inert. It won't continue to grow. It won't sprout out mushrooms or fruiting bodies. It won't spore, so there's no allergens. And it's a completely safe and inert material at that stage. So you're looking at the mushroom lighting collection. And this is our largest. It's a 24-inch diameter dome, followed by an 18-inch and our smaller cup light, and then our trumpet lamp. And the amazing thing about this is the mycelium itself in nature is hydrophobic, and it's also fire resistant. So the lighting in itself, it's perfect for that application. The material is rated grade 8 fire resistant. So they're all UL listed, and they're super lightweight. So visually it might feel like kind of heavy, maybe similar to concrete, but when you touch it, this larger one is actually less than 8 pounds total. So when you can see this, it feels like the weight of almost styrofoam. It's super lightweight, and you can kind of tune the material depending on how you grow it to have different performance properties. So different colorations, you can have greater standoff that makes it really fuzzy and soft. So you actually want to go in and touch the light. We have our largest lighting installation at the One Hotel in Brooklyn Bridge Park. 130 lampshades in the Riverside suite that overlook the Brooklyn Bridge. We are now producing our lampshades, growing them in California. So our partners, Paradise Packaging in Paradise, California, are now growing these lampshades at scale to be competitive in the marketplace. So after 6 years of championing mycelium and bringing this into lighting, it's a great victory to see it take that next step and to be able to literally grow our business. If you want to get your hands on this amazing material and have a lamp for your home, your office, your next project, visit my website, danielletrofe.com or mushroomlighting.com, and follow us on social media. We're always doing really fun events and sometimes some hands-on grow-it-yourself workshops. And and stay in the loop with us and help support this cause of creating more sustainable solutions for us, for everybody.